Chariclo Connects is a series of conversations with artists, makers, and creators from our local community. It's an opportunity for us to see into their world and to hear their stories, to discover what their journey was to get to where they are now, and the process that goes on behind the scenes. In this episode of Chariclo Connects, I had the pleasure of speaking with Anna Rieke of DOCUPOETRY. Anna is an incredibly talented portrait and documentary photographer. We met in 2022 out in Mexico and immediately bonded over art, photography, and travel. Anna and I discussed the power of the creative practice and our connection to nature. We also share about some incredible stories of magical experiences. We talk about our upcoming Women's Creative Embodiment Retreat, which we'll be hosting at Chariclo this September.
Hello, my dear.
Hello, Anna. So
Where
lovely to see you. I am in Bonnie, Scotland right now. And yourself, where are you? Where's your beautiful background?
I'm on the island of Madeira for still another week. I've been here for 1 month, just merging with nature and working from here, and it's been marvelous. And it's been taking some time to arrive, like coming out of 1 month of being in community and surrounded by many, many people. It's been a journey of really reconnecting with me and with nature, and now I'm like ready to create and super excited. So I'm very grateful to have been here.
Yeah, your cup is overflowing, ready to create and give back.
Yes, absolutely.
So for the people tuning in to this conversation with Anna and myself, we are really, really excited to be coming together and creating an incredible experience in Scotland, which we will tell you all about in due course. But first of all, shall we share how our paths crossed, how we met?
Yes, I would love to. And actually, I was thinking about it, and I couldn't recall the first time we met. I just remember how we connected again in the cenote in Tulum, by the beach at a concert, and we were dancing together, and it was just an incredibly magical night. But everything before I forgot, so I would love to ask you, Sarah, how did we meet?
Fantastic. I remember it really well. I was invited to this party also in Tulum on Christmas Eve, and it was about 3 years ago. And I think you and I just you'd walked into the room and we both just connected our eyes. And I was like, who is this woman? And we immediately started talking, and you came with all these lollipops with your friends. Do you remember? You brought these lollipops.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
And you had your camera on your neck and this beautiful camera. And we started talking about the camera, which is one that, do you remember which camera it was?
Probably it was the Leica.
Yeah, the Leica, yeah. And yeah, I just remember like our conversation and our connection and just feeling like, who is this woman? I want to know more. And yeah, there's something about your energy, Anna, and it really comes across in your photography as well, that you really like see people in a deep way. Like you don't just see their exterior shell, you see there's like a soul recognition or a soul searching. And yeah,
I felt as well meeting you. I just remembered, I'm like, I know this woman. Like, there is such a bond between us. Yes.
yeah. And then I came across your photography after we met, and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is so talented. She has such an incredible eye. And we kind of stayed in touch ever since, didn't we?
Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, first of all, for your beautiful words. And I'm like, wow, yes, it's been the beginning of the journey for me as well in Mexico that we met. I've been there like 2 weeks, I think, at that point. And we've been talking a little bit before, about the encounter with the concheros that I had in Mexico. And that was also before I met them. So wow, we've really been traveling together, like through some dimensions, I would say. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we connected again through our common friend Abby, who came to Tulum, and that we really hope is going to join the retreat as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's another
But you
incredible.
returned to Scotland. Where did you return to after?
For meeting you.
Yes, after Mexico. What's
So
your big?
yeah, I've moved myself back to Scotland, and this is where my roots are. It was where I was born, and I actually lived elsewhere most of my life, and lived in London for a long time, working in the design industry. So I have a very creative and artistic background. And I came back to Scotland at a really challenging time. I was going through a huge quantum crumble, like relationships, jobs, home, and it really felt like I was kind of a real reset. But it felt like I was kind of pushed, kind of, yeah, kind of universally kicked back to Scotland. Like, okay, Sarah, now's the time to start creating this vision that I've been having for many years of renovating this farm that was my grandparents, and connecting more with the land and growing veg, keeping bees, and opening the space up for retreats and well-being experiences. And in that time, I delved deeper into Kundalini yoga and became a Kundalini yoga teacher, which was a huge part of my journey. And it shifted so much in my life and really brought me back into alignment in so many ways. And I was offering a lot of Kundalini yoga meditations to groups for a few years as well, which were such beautiful, profound experiences. But over a few years, I'd completely disconnected from my creative background and the creative aspect. And I had a huge creative block, I'd realized, probably from being in this like survival mode, or like, the creativity is one of the first things that turns off until you're feeling safe and in your body and after big changes or big transitions. And yeah, it was just over a year ago that I started reconnecting with my creative side, which is a huge part of me and has been for most of my life. So that started by just getting out in nature and drawing from nature, observational drawings, getting paints and inks, and just creating for the sake of creating, not for a brief, not for a specific outcome, but just for the joy. And in that process of coming back to this creative practice, I realized also how beautifully mindful and meditative it is. And I've been going into all these yogas and meditations and breath work, but art is such a big part of that. And
Yes.
yeah, it's so important, and it's so
Totally.
overlooked, you know?
Yeah, I remember I just came before I walked up the staircase, and I was like, creativity is my meditation. I had the same thing, like dropping it. I was like, creativity is my meditation. When I'm creative, I'm in God, I'm in everything, I'm in play, I'm with myself, I'm fully expressed. So yeah, it's so beautiful you're saying that right now.
But goosebumps as you were saying that.
And Sarah, you also already opened space for creative workshops at Chariclo, no? Could you share a little bit about that, how that has been?
Yeah, so that started again, just inviting people to come, getting creative, but in nature. That observational drawing from nature, which is so forgiving when you're drawing. So it's incredible for people who are complete beginners or people who have practiced all their life. And it's amazing just holding the space and witnessing how people so easily like drop in. But we'll also do a little bit of I'll incorporate the breathing meditations and other practices and tools to help people really get out of their head, because we spend so much time in our head, in our minds, overthinking, the critical mind coming in. And the real practice is just dropping out of that and or noticing it. Okay, noticing this critical voice coming up in your mind and being like, I see you, and it's, you know, it's okay. I'm not needing your opinion right now. I'm just doing this for the joy of it, for the fun, for the pleasure. And it's amazing just watching people get into this beautiful flow state from just sitting in a garden or by the trees or in the woods and creating these beautiful pieces in a very free and natural and quite playful and childlike way, where there's no pressure of needing it to be good or look a certain way, but just putting all of that aside, all the pressure and expectation aside, which is such a killer of creativity, as you may know with your own practice. So once we can just come back to that like childlike play and bring the joy and fun and pleasure back into it, that's when we can really start creating something really exciting. And Anna, I would love to hear about what inspires you and tell us a bit more about your work.
Absolutely. Yes, I also felt some parallels right now because I didn't know that you are working on the farm of your grandparents. And I think my first inspiration in photography was really my grandfather, who had a darkroom and was an amazing photographer. Like he has these beautiful, beautiful photos from Paris, from my family traveling to Asia, and many of them my family hadn't even seen because he was not like presenting them, but he was really a great photographer and it was always an inspiration to me. But yeah, my work. So I love to, first of all, connect with people. Like I am a person that genuinely loves people. Like I feel a connection to people and to discover more about them and to just, I'm just of such a curious nature, you know. I'm also interested in places, of course, but like people are just so magical and like universes in themselves. And so I love to discover different cultures. And I'm very drawn to documentary photography. And in the past years, I have been more and more focusing on portrait photography as well. And because it allows me to really get to know people in a very deep sense and to connect with them in a really deep sense. Because for me, this kind of photography is always a dialogue. You know, we enter a space where so much could happen. And that depends on the two of us. Like, how much am I willing to give as a photographer, and how much are you willing to give as the person that I'm photographing? And I love photography so much because I'm always looking for this moment where this is revealing, you know? And sometimes it takes a lot of space, and sometimes it happens like in this instant, you know, but you never know. And for me, it's kind of like a dance with everything, you know, with light, with the universe, with the day, with like everything has to fall into like this one moment, our connection that we have together now, and then something happens. And I experienced that so many times in my photography where there were really moments happening that were like beyond magic, you know. And Henri Cartier-Bresson called it the decisive moment. No, it's this moment where this is happening. And I think this is really what's drawing me to photography, to find this magic in life, to find these magical moments and to freeze them. Like for myself, because it brings me so much joy, but also for other people because they feel seen. Or I get this reflection like, wow, I really feel seen, or you revealed something about me, or wow, I see myself, you know. And this for me is just like, this is so beautiful. Like having a work where you're giving that and receiving that is just like, wow, couldn't ask for anything more. So yeah, I think that's my joy. Photography, probably much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I love that, the moment of revelation, or seeing something, seeing the truth in that lies beneath, perhaps the truth behind the eyes.
And like the truth also between us, you know, because I can only I cannot get the truth, or like, you know, I can get the truth of me here in Palma, Madeira, you know, because it's the relationship that I have with this town right now that will be revealed, you know, and I can share the truth between you and me, you know, and what wants to show there, and somebody else will show something completely different, which is maybe also just as true, you know. But like to get to this point, for me is really, really exciting. And you know,
Yeah.
Sarah, I also I feel the same, like about letting go of all these blockages. How you say blocks? Blockages? Yeah. Like letting go of them. And for me, this is really like part of the work that I'm doing to help women, mainly women, but also men, yes, move through that, because photography is something so intimate and we're all in a certain way afraid of it. So I like to help people get back into a space of play, of discovery, of curiosity, you know, because it needs this realm of play to create something real. And yeah, so when I was listening to you and how you're guiding through your workshops, I really recognize myself in my work as well.
That's beautiful. I love also that you describe the poetry between you and the subject as a dance. And I know that dance has been a big part of your life the last couple of years since moving to Mexico and working with the concheros. Would you like to speak more about that?
Yeah, I would love to speak about that. Yes, I think I really recognize myself as a dancer back in Mexico, which I had forgotten about. Like I used to be a little ballerina, and then, you know, life happened and we forget about things that are so dear to us. And in Mexico, I had the chance to reconnect with it. I think like 1 week after we met, I moved to the jungle outside of Tulum because it was a little bit too much party and hedonism for me. And I really love connecting like with the land, with the culture. And I ended up living in a house of traditional Mexican dancers, and they're called concheros. And I went to one of the obligaciones where they go to different cities to dance there, and the dance is really like a prayer. So it's a prayer in motion. And I remember being there at the time. One of my best friends was there as well, and we were dancing with them, and I felt so much devotion and so much beauty in this work that comes from pre-Hispanic times. And I remember I was standing there crying because from my own cultural background, I don't know this kind of devotion. I don't know this kind of connection through creativity, through dance, and also music, because the concerto dancers are playing instruments and dancing at the same time. So for me, that was really a revelation. And I just stood there crying because I felt so close to God, to the universe, to everything, you know? And I was like, yes, I want more of that in my life. And yeah, I became a dancer myself. So for the past years, I've been dancing and traveling around Mexico with the dances. And it's been a very profound journey, like a very profound soul journey. Because there's another part when you're in a creative practice, whatever it is, no, dancing, photographing, painting, whatever, you start recognizing your own soul, yourself, through the practice that you're doing. And with the dancers, for example, they're not going to teach you how you dance, but you learn the dance by being in the group of dancers, by observation, by dancing, you know? And that was so beautiful for me to learn. And it kind of felt to me like my soul weaved itself back to its original pattern. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's how it felt like. And it's so hard to express really what is happening because it needs to be experienced. And it's so beautiful to experience this kind of healing, of coming back to yourself through creativity. And yeah, I really get to know magical people from this dance group. Like, wow, such beautiful, beautiful souls that are so inspiring, and that are also navigating between the different realms of, you know, the intellect and creativity and really like almost like theatrical people, you know, that know that kind of everything is a game while taking it very serious at the same time. And I like this combination, you know. Yeah, so I'm really grateful for this journey.
I love. Just the way you described it as almost like you're harmonizing with the group, and that's you're coming into the same vibration, the same rhythms. And it reminds me of these harmonic plates where there's all these grains of sand and there's different frequencies going onto the plate, and then the sand is creating all these beautiful patterns. And I don't know why that was coming to mind when you were talking about the dancing, and you just learn because you're in it and you're suddenly, you know, dancing with everyone, even though you've not been taught or learned it in the traditional way, and coming back into the rhythm of your soul. Gosh, what a beautiful image.
So much. And you know, also it's a reconnection with nature. Like I asked my general once, like if I would make a documentary about the concertos, what would it be about? And he said about like reconnecting with nature, which I found very interesting because it's of course very creative and divine act, no? But divinity is found in Mexico in nature. You know, it's not, and it's in ourselves. It's not somewhere in the heavens, you know, it's also in the heavens, but not only, you know, and that is so beautiful. And through the dance, you embody these elements, you know, you embody the sun, you have the dance of the sun, and you have the dance of Quetzalcoatl, and you have the dance of Tunantzin, which is Mother Earth, you know, so you're like, you're incorporating these elements because you are them, you're not separate from them. And that is so, so beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and to me as well, nature for my whole life has been such a big part of me. It's the connection with nature has been everything to me.
And Sarah, are there very like special moments at Chariclo that you remember, like in nature, some beautiful light situations, or just like moments that, yeah, took your breath away, or you were in awe? Because I mean, we've already been seeing so many photos and videos which are just so stunning, no? Especially when you're not coming from Scotland and looking at them from the outside. But I would love to hear, like, what was your dearest memory or your dearest memories?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many, and I never, like, I live in such a beautiful place, a beautiful country, beautiful landscapes, and I never ever take it for granted. Like every day I'm in awe. When I look out the window, I'm like, wow, 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 wow. And just watching the birds and the animals, and the way the sun moves through the sky across the year, feeling really connected to the rhythms of the seasons and cycles. So like it's all of it every day. But as you were speaking there was one memory that really stood out, and it was a couple of years ago, and a really beautiful evening in April, and I went to Loch Lomond side with a friend, and we lit a bonfire and we're having pizza on the beach, just chatting away, waiting for the sun to set. I think it was a full moon, so we were waiting for the moon to rise. And someone had messaged us saying, "Oh, you might be able to see the Northern Lights tonight." And we were like, "Oh, great! Let's hang around and see if we can see the Northern Lights," which I hadn't seen before, because usually it's harder to see where we are. You'd have to be a bit further north. And we were looking north, and we were like, "Oh, there's the moon rising, but where's the light? Where's the Northern Lights?" And suddenly I just look up more towards the south, and right up, really above our heads, I see these beams of light, and like almost like streaks of light in the air right above our heads. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And obviously you can only see so much with the naked eye. The photos, when you capture it in a photo, you can see the colors and the visuals a lot easier than with the naked eye, but it was so strong. You could really see the pinks and greens, and it was just truly magical. And we managed to capture a few images from that night, and the shapes that were coming from the sky, they looked angelic. They looked like an angel with these huge wings, and yeah, like I'll remember that night for my entire life. Yeah, it was truly,
Sounds
truly magical. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
I remember we were in contact that night. You were telling me, I'm eating pizza by the beach watching the Northern Lights. Okay, Sarah, I'm coming.
I messaged you because I was asking you for photography advice. I remember I was like, what's the best way to capture the Northern Lights? And I only had like a really basic, like old phone at the time. So the things that I did capture were like so basic. But the next, the person I was with had a better phone and got better images from that. But yeah.
Amazing.
So for next time, I'll be more prepared next time.
So nice. I wanted to ask as well, because for the women who are coming to the retreat, can you tell us a little bit about the excursions that we're going to do?
Yeah, I'm so excited about the way we've planned and created the retreat, with working with like the stillness and kind of going inward initially. So the first excursion is going to be at this incredible natural gorge, which is called the Devil's Pulpit. And you go down these old stone steps down into this gorge, and it's this river that has carved out these beautiful shapes in the rocks. And the river runs red because of all the iron and minerals in the water. And it's all red sandstone rock, and which is, I guess, why it has the name the Devil's Pulpit. And it's really, really magical. So that's going to be our first one of like, really delving deep into the shadow and the depth. And, that's where, we've got to go inward, down and in order to kind of come back up as new and find that inspiration. So that'll be our first little excursion. We also have a boat trip planned as well on Loch Lomond, which will be the day for reflections and connecting with the element of water. And I know you'll be leading some photography workshops on that day as well, and technical workshops, as well as ways to reflect and capture something new and magical, and with inspiration of being on the water, being in the water, and seeing some beautiful parts of the loch, and going around the islands as well.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wait for it. For me, what is really important to share as well is that the retreat is really open for everyone, that there's no like creative practice needed before, and it's really not about creating masterpieces. I mean, if you do, amazing, but this is really not what the workshop is about. But it's really about reconnecting with the act of creation, so being in the process and not being guided, like drawn by result.
The process rather than the finished piece.
Yes, it's about the act of creativity rather than the result.
Yeah.
And I know even like a lot of artists say that, my art is alive while I'm painting it or while I'm creating it. And once it's done, it doesn't belong to me anymore. And so it's really a journey of discovery and joy and play and releasing the blockage through really, I think, through curiosity, by replacing fear with curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I realize so many of us have these blocks around creativity. And I think it started in schools. I don't know what it's been like in your culture, Anna, back in Germany. But here it's the creative practices are very much overlooked or dismissed or not seen as important as maths or science or other subjects. And when it feels, and from my own experience as well, it can be really hard to prioritize the creative practice. And you know, I live quite a busy life doing lots of different things, and I have, you know, a massive to-do list, and I'm sure so many women can relate to this that are, you know, high achieving women, or that are constantly doing and constantly have this never-ending to-do list, and they would love to spend more time on their creative practice, but it's just they never find the time. It never comes around. Because there's always so much more to do. So this is an opportunity and an invite for the woman who has this creativity inside her that is really just so eager to be seen and to be expressed, but she's not yet had that space or that invite or made that time for her creativity to be expressed. So yeah, this is what the retreat is all about, is giving ourselves permission to express ourselves, to tap into that creative flow, the creative juices that we all have inside of us, but we're not necessarily always tapping into or giving space for.
Absolutely, yes. And I think that's also like the day of the one-on-one portrait shoots. I think is a really important part as well, like this part of letting go of these blockages of being seen, of being visible, and in the end, just simply being, no? Because in these moments, we allow ourselves to be and to be witnessed as we are. And this can like, wow, wash off so much from you. And, you know, I had the same because I was afraid of being photographed as well. And I'm a photographer. And I had a friend who really like kicked me into doing a photo shoot with an amazing photographer in Berlin. And we took photos for 8 hours in a studio. And it was really exhausting, but I was healed afterwards, you know. And since then, I'm like, okay, camera is like pointing at me, whatever, you know, like, let's play with it. Let's make something of it, you know. And I think this is another point, like, that is very, yeah, just a very beautiful part of the retreat, to really embrace yourself and who you are and being fully expressed.
Yeah, fully expressed, freely expressed.
Absolutely.
I would love for you to talk a bit more about that, of your the practice of being photographed, being seen and witnessed, and how that has the power to heal. Could you delve a bit deeper into that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, honestly, I think it comes also from my own experience. I've been reflecting a lot of it this month as well, being here, that I oftentimes did not feel seen, did not feel heard. And I think that's why, for me, it's so important to see and to hear other people and to be fully present with them. And I think I really mastered this art because of my own experience in life, you know? And so I'm so happy to share it. And yeah, I can share like from the feedback of my clients that they really tell me like, wow, like you helped me move on to the next level or to the next step in my life, or to embody what I wanted to embody but was afraid of before, you know. And that is so beautiful for me. Like people really come and like, wow, like you shifted something in my life. Like we shifted something there at this point. And I remember one client, she was like, you changed me, but what did you do to her? She's a completely new person. Like something has shifted. And
Wow.
yes, because there's such a power in like being seen and also feeling appreciated. And you know, Sarah, that's also why I created my project Somos, where I had a workshop last year in Tulum, which is about witnessing each other and seeing each other and appreciating each other, where I teach people visual storytelling and photography, so they can experience the same that I'm experiencing, you know, the joy of meeting somebody truly, and to see like how fulfilling that is for not just you, but for the other person. And finally, when you share it like on social media, in the gallery like we did in Tulum or whatever, other people have the possibility to appreciate your work, appreciate that person that you're telling the story of. And it's just so powerful and beautiful. And yeah, I would love like for the whole world to witness that.
Wow. Love that so much. Love that. And yeah, your work is truly poetic, and it does not surprise me at all that these women are having such profound experiences from working with you. So yeah, that's really beautiful to hear.
I can also like there are these two magical, but they're more for me, but two like that are like expressed in the photography. It's like what happened here? Like I went with a friend to the beach in Tulum, and there was a trunk of a tree in the water, and we went there because it looked so beautiful, like a sculpture, and all to take some photos. And there were two blackbirds on the tree, and she said, "The bird is going to come onto my hand," and I was like, "Okay." And 20 seconds later, this bird came onto her hand and stayed with her for like 3 minutes. And we were taking photos with this wild bird on her hand. Like she stood up and held the bird. And the person from the bar was like, I saw that. Like, what happened? You know? It's like, wow, how on earth? And another moment with one of the elders in Tulum, a medicine man that at this day has been teaching me how to light the fire in the copalera. And he told me that in the ceremony, he sometimes sees spirits in the smoke. And he said that in the ceremony, it is like the mask has been taken off of your face, no?
Yeah.
And we went into the Temazcal and I took photos of him. And he's been like working with the copalera, and there was a lot of smoke, obviously. And I went back home and I wanted to erase a photo, and I looked at it again and I was like, oh my God. And there was literally like a spirit in the smoke, and it looked like a mask coming off his face. And I was just like, and he was also like, that can't be true, no? Like, wow, like there's so much magic in photography. It's like, yes.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that photo and you didn't mention anything about the face, and I was like, Anna, there's this face coming out of the smoke. It was so clear. And yeah, this is where I just magic 100% exists. It's everywhere. And yeah, again, the photo of your friend with the birds. I was like, wow, how did they make this happen? So there's so much magic when we hold that space and when we bear witness and are just fully present. And yeah, just, oh, I love it. I love it. That's what I'm here for. Bringing in more magic, calling it in, creating it together. Yeah. Oh, but Anna, I cannot wait to have you here in Scotland with me and to welcome all of these beautiful women that are joining us from all over. Do you have any parting words, any final thoughts?
Well, as usual, I'm in full trust that everything is going to be magical and beautiful and just the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, I'm so excited to get to know all of you who are joining the retreat, and looking forward to repeating it again because we're going to. I think we're just getting started with that, so.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, so very, very grateful that we connected in Tulum, that we're on such a similar path, you know, because I feel we really like are living a similar dharma, and we're just meeting in this right now. So I'm so happy that we can open this space together and open it for the women who need it right now, and expand together from there. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited. And yeah, I feel that too, Anna. Just such a beautiful way that we work together, beautiful harmony. Can't wait to meet all the women that are joining. This has been fun. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thanks so much for listening to Chariclo Connects. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you'd like to know more about the artist's work, then please check out the links and info below. To show your support, please like and share this story and follow along for more conversations with our creative community.